line. Oh, I'm back! Woohoo! My computer has fucked everything up. So just to repeat myself, this is a cider I haven't tried before. I will. It's actually only the second one I have found, which is alcohol free, which it says down here, but it says in Danish. Um, and it's very hard to find alcohol free ciders, which is not like 300. No, my computer actually changed the settings on their own because of a system update. So no people did. This time people didn't do. It's just called cider. That is true. But yeah, I did an up. It's a Able. And it's written like it says here. So it's actually apple cider I have here. When you write it without the Danish letter, you need to write AEBLE. You can kind of see in the letter that it consists of an A and an E. No, you push an A and an E. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Exactly. But yeah, I'm a little addicted to tortilla chips at the moment, so you could also learn Danish and then get a Scandinavian keyboard. Just saying. This cider tastes weird. I don't require anything. It was just a suggestion. If you get a bunny, um, I think I bought 12 bags of tortilla chips. Thank you, Earthling. Oh, well. Only this one. I only bought that one. So that when I'm done with that, I'm not gonna buy anymore. I usually taste them first and then buy a lot. So yeah. Um. Oh, hi Sam. Hi. Welcome in. um. So I think today is the day that we go through Moria. I actually think today we are going through Moria in the book. So that's gonna be exciting. Yeah, the big bad Balrog will come and burn you to death. And then Gandalf will be a motherfucker and take all the XP for himself. Bastard. Yeah, exactly. Just like him. Oh, hi Aragon. Welcome in. So, I actually have made a command I haven't told anyone about yet. Do you want to hear what it is? No, not that. It is called exclamation mark book. So like this one. Book. Hi Dima. Hi. Welcome in. So everyone, please say hi to Dima, which is actually a pretty amazing author of children's books. And I'm actually talking with Dima at the moment about making an appearance of her books on here when we are done with the series, of course. She one of her books is called I Hate My Name Club, I think it's called. Isn't that right, Dima? Nice. So I can actually remember things at the moment. But yeah, um, I think that's something we're gonna do when we're done with the series. Like take a night or two to read some of Dima's books to like get a little break for the from the fantasy world for a night or two. So yeah, that's kind of the idea at the moment. And then we, of course, are gonna go on reading the book that we choose to do after that one, because then we will poke a hole on the next very long journey of books, which is actually at least 3 books, which is kind of nuts. When I think about it, that But yeah. That's me. I'm a nutcase. Hi. The Hobbit is only one book. Even though they made 3 movies, The Hobbit is actually only one book. Yeah, it's a very very packed book. So, but yeah, as you can hear at the music, it's gonna be a very exciting chapter today because we are journeying down into the dark of Moria. Now, the Hobbit is coming to visit me at the 27th of May. So that's gonna be amazing. And she will be here on stream as well. She will probably fall asleep, but that's another kind of story. Yeah, go get something to eat, Dima. Nice. I know, like. Yeah, you will meet. You will meet. Yeah, you are. So today I just got. Oh my god! Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. It's very nice to see you all. Ooh! How many? Damn! 3 people hit the bush. That is very nice. And thank you for all the follows. Thank you for the follow, Miss Gecko. And thank you for the follow, Sex Lemons. And hi, V. Ooh, and thank you for the follow, JPR Fiat. Right now, actually. Hey, don't you break me. Right now, I'm actually really good. We are at the chapter now where we are going into Moria to actually find some of the some of the people which is actually from the Hobbit. Without saying too much. Oh, thank you for the follow, Kathy. Can I call you Kathy? Or Katie? Or... Yeah, I know, Gecko. I know you're Danish. Earthling, let me just say it like this. If you had heard Red Roses or any of her amazing followers, I will jail you. Nice. Yeah, go do that. go exactly and do that. It's very important to take care of yourself. Always remember that. Now my fat face is gonna be in the way. Boop. Bloop. No, it was this one. Yeah, and this one. There we go. Exactly the thing. No sword. Yeah, you are. So if you haven't been here before, I actually get a bookmark made for every book I read, and it's by this very lovely lady called May. Earthling, can you give May a shout out? Because she is very amazing at making these types of bookmarks. No, Earthling, but we appreciate you being here and taking care of all the bunch coming in. It's simply just out in one, May and Creature. So May, Creature. No, M-E-I. And then we need a raid one as well for the amazing red roses. 147. Hey, stop that. 147. No, just do a SO. Huh? Yeah, I'm not used to getting raids. Bop, 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 bop. Oh, that was why. Do, 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 do. Me not fucking up in my own stream. Amazing. Yes, there we go. So everyone here, go in and check out. No, that person. Here, right, that link. And everyone which want to see all of the amazing things May is doing as well, just push this link. But now we need to get start reading, else we will get too far behind. And that is so much me to get behind on things. So yeah. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, I needed to stretch for Katie. That was right. I almost forgot that. So, reading it is. And look, we're almost done with the book. Hi Sasha, welcome in. Chapter 4. A Journey in the Dark. It was evening, and the grey light was again waning fast when they halted for the night. They were very. The mountains were veiled in a deepening dusk, and the wind was cold. Gandalf spared them one more mouthful each of the Mirror of Rivendell. That was fucking cold. When they had eaten some food, he called a council. We cannot, of course, go on again tonight, he said. The attack on the Redhorn Gate has tired us out, and we must rest here for a while. And then where are we to go? Asked Frodo. We still have our journey and our errand before us, answered Gandalf. We have no choice but to go on, or to return to Rivendell. Pippin's face brightened wisely at the mere mention of returning to Rivendell. Merry and Sam looked up hopefully, but Aragorn and Boromir made no sign. Frodo looked troubled. I wish I was back there, he said. But how can I return without shame? Unless there is indeed no other way. And we are already defeated. You are right, Frodo, said Gandalf. To go back is to admit defeat, and face worse defeat to come. If we go back now, then the ring must remain there. We shall not be able to set out again. Then sooner or later, Rivendell will be besieged, and after a brief and bitter time, it will be destroyed. The Ringwraiths are deadly enemies, but they are only shadows yet of the power and terror they would possess if the ruling ring was on their master's hand again. Then we must go on, if there is a way, said Frodo, with a sigh. Sam sank back in gloom. There is a way that we may attempt, said Gandalf. I thought from the beginning, when I first considered this journey, that we should try it. But it is not a pleasant way, and I have not spoken of it to the company before. Aragorn was against it, until the pass over the mountains had at least been tried. If it is a worse road than the Redhorn Gate, then it must be evil indeed, said Merry. But you had better tell us about it, and let us know the worst at once. If it is a worse road than the Redhorn Gate, then... Didn't I just read that? Yeah, oh my god, my brain. The road that I speak of leads to the mines of Moria, said Gandalf. Only Gimli lifted up his head. A smouldering fire was in his eyes. On all the others a dread fell at the mention of that name. Even to the hobbits it was a legend of vague fear. The road may lead to Moria, but how can we hope that it will lead through Moria? Said Aragorn darkly. It is a name of ill omen, said Boromir. Nor do I see the need to go there. If we cannot cross the mountains, let us journey southwards until we come to the Gap of Rohan, where men are friendly to my people, taking the road that I followed on my way hither. Or we might pass by and cross the Isen into Isengard, into Langstrand and Lebanon, and so come to Gondor from the regions nigh the sea. It's cold. You. Things have changed since you came north, Boromir, answered Gandalf. Did you not hear what I told you of Saruman? With him I may have business of my own ere all is over. But the ring must not come near Isengard, if that if that can by any means be prevented. The Goblin King. What do you mean the Goblin King? The Goblin King is in The Hobbit. But yeah, if we read that, you can of course stab him. No worries. But you can stab the Balrog if you dare to attempt. The gap of Rohan is close to us, while we go with the bearer. As for the longer road, we cannot afford the time. We might spend a year in such a journey, and we should pass through many lands that are empty and harborless. Yet they would not be safe. The watchful eyes of Saruman and of the enemy are on them. Keep that thought, Earthling. Keep that thought, and then remind me when we get there. When you came north, Boromir, you were in the enemy's eyes only one stray wanderer from the south, and a matter of small concern to him. His mind was busy with the pursuit of the ring. But you return now as a member of the ring's company, and you are in peril as long as you remain with us. The danger will increase with every league that we go south under the naked sky. Oh, nice. That's very nice, Mark. Very nice. Since our open attempt on the mountain pass, our plight has become more desperate, I fear. I see now little hope if we do not soon vanish from sight for a while and cover our trail. Therefore, I'd advise that we should go neither over the mountains nor round them, but under them. That is a road, at any rate, that the enemy will expect the least. Expect us to the least. That is a road, at any rate, that the enemy will least expect us to take. We do not know what he expects, said Boromir. He may watch all roads, likely and unlikely. In that case, to enter Moria would be to walk into a trap. Hardly better than knocking at the gates of the Dark Tower itself. The name of Moria is Black. You speak of what you do not know when you liken Moria to the stronghold of Sauron, answered Gandalf. I alone of you have never been in the dungeons of the Dark Lord, and only in his older and lesser dwellings in Dol Guldur. Those who pass the gates of Barad-dûr do not return. But I would not lead you into Moria if there were no hope of coming out again. If there are orcs there, it may prove ill for us, that is true. But most of the orcs of the Misty Mountains were scattered and destroyed in the Battle of Five Armies. The eagles report that orcs are gathering again from afar, but there is a hope that Moria is still free. There is even a chance that dwarves are there, and that in some deep hall of his father, Balin, son of Fundin, may be found. However it may prove, one must tread the path that needs chooses. I will tread the path with you, Gandalf, said Gilmdy. I will go and look on the halls of Durin, whatever may wait there, if you can find the doors that are shut. Good, Gimli, said Gandalf. You encourage me. We will seek the hidden doors together, and we will come through. In the ruins of the dwarves, a dwarf's head will be less easy to bewilder than elves or men or hobbits. Yet it will not be the first time that I have been to Moria. I sought there long for Thrain, son of Thor, after he was lost. I passed through and I came out alive again. I too once passed the Dimlin Gate, said Aragorn quietly. Hi, Lothriel. But though I also came out again, the memory is very evil. I do not wish to enter Moria a second time. And I do not wish to enter it even once, said Pippin. Nor me, muttered Sam. Of course not, said Gandalf. Who would? But the question is, who will follow me if I lead you there? I will, said Gimli eagerly. I will, said Aragorn heavily. You followed my lead almost to disaster in the snow, and you have said no word of blame. I will follow your lead now. If this last warning does not move you, it is not the ring nor us others that I'm thinking now, but of you, Gandalf. And I say to you, if you pass the doors of Moria, beware. I will not go, said Boromir, not unless the vote of the whole company is against me. What do Legolas and the little folk say? The ring-bearer's voice surely should be heard. I do not wish to go to Moria, said Legolas. The hobbit said nothing. Sam looked at Frodo. At last Frodo spoke. I do not wish to go, he said, but neither do I wish to refuse the advice of Gandalf. I beg that there should be no vote until we have slept on it. Gandalf would get votes easier in the light of the morning than in this cold gloom. How the wind howls. At these words, all fell into silent thought. They heard the wind hissing among the rocks and the trees, and there was a howling and a wailing around them in the empty spaces of night. Suddenly, Aragorn leapt to his feet. How the wind howls, he cried. Is it howling with wolf voices? The wargs have come west of the mountains. Need we wait until the morning then? Said Gandalf. It is as I said. The hunt is up. Even if we live to see the dawn. 2 seconds. Who now will wish to journey south by the night with the wild wolves on his trail? How far is Moria? Asked Boromir. There was a door southwest of the Cahatras, some 15 miles at the crow's flight. And maybe 20 as a wolf's run, answered Gandalf grimly. Then let us start as soon as it is light tomorrow, if we can, said Boromir. The wolf that one hears is worse than the orc that one fears. True, said Aragorn, loosening his sword in his sheath. But where the warg howls, there also the orc prowls. I wish I had taken Elrond's advice, muttered Pippin to Sam. I'm no good after all. There's not enough of the breed of Bandobras the Bull Roarer in me. These howls freeze my blood. I don't ever remember feeling so wretched. My heart's right down to in my toes, Mr. Pippin, said Sam. But we aren't eaten yet. And there are some stout folk here with us. Whatever may be in store for old Gandalf, I'll wager it isn't a wolf's belly. Yeah, that's interesting. Where is Miss Deathheart? Yeah, thank you. I checked and it's shit. Yeah. And I corrected it. Where is the little lady? There we go. And a little chip to eat. No, no. For their defense in the night, the company climbed to the top of a small hill under which they had been sheltering. It was crowned with a knot of old and twisted trees, about which lay a broken circle of boulder stones. In the midst of this they lit a fire, for there was no hope that darkness and silence would keep their trail from discovering by hunting packs. Round the fire they sat, and those that were not on guard dozed uneasily. Poor Bill the pony trembled and sweated where he stood. The howling of the wolves was now all round them, sometimes nearer, sometimes further off. In the dead of night, many shining eyes were seen peering over the brow of the hill. Some advanced almost to the ring of stones. At the gap in the circle, a great dark wolf shape could be seen halted, gazing at them. A shuddering howl broke from him, and if he were a captain summoning his pack to the assault. Gandalf stood up and strode forward, holding his staff aloft. Listen, hound of Sauron, he cried. Gandalf is here. Fly, if you value your foul skin. I will shrivel you from tail to snout, if you come within this ring. The wolf snarled and sprang towards them with a great leap. At that moment, there was a sharp twang. Legolas had loosened his bow. There was a hideous yell, and the leaping shape thudded to the ground. The elvish arrow had pierced its throat. The watching eyes were suddenly extinguished. Gandalf and Aragorn strode forward, but the hill was deserted. The hunting packs had fled. All about them, the darkness grew silent, and no cry came on the sighing wind. The night was old, and the westward the waning moon was setting, gleaming fitfully through the breaking clouds. Suddenly Frodo started from sleep. Without the warning, a storm of howls broke out fierce and wild all about the camp. A great host of wargs had gathered silently and was now attacking them from every side at once. Fling fuel on the fire, cried Gandalf to the hobbits. Draw your blades and stand back to back. In the leaping light, as the fresh wood blazed up, Frodo saw many great shapes spring over the ring of stones. More and more followed. Through the throat of one huge leader, Aragorn passed his sword with a thrust. With a great sweep, Boromir heaved the head of another. Beside them, Gimli stood with his stout legs apart, wielding his dwarf axe. The bow of Legolas was singing. In a wavering firelight, Gandalf seemed suddenly to grow. He rose up, a great menacing shape, like the monument of some ancient king of stone set upon a hill. Stooping like a cloud, he lifted a burning branch and strode to meet the wolves. They gave back before him. High in the air, he tossed a blazing brand. It flared with a sudden white radiance like lightning, and his voice rolled like thunder. Naua an Ithred Amen. Now dan Aithnichoth, he cried. There was a roar and a crackle, and the tree above them burst into leaf and bloom of blinding flame. The fire leapt from treetop to treetop. The whole hill was crowned with dazzling light. The swords and knives of the defenders shone and flickered. The last arrow of Legolas kindled in the air as it flew, and plunged burning into the heart of the great wolf chieftain. All the others fled. Slowly the fire died till nothing was left but falling ashes and sparks. A bitter smoke curled above the burned tree stumps, and blew darkly from the hill as the first light of dawn came dimly in the sky. Their enemies were routed and did not return. What did I tell you, Mr. Pippin? Said Sam, sheathing his sword. Wolves won't get him. That was an eye-opener and no mistake. Nearly singed the hair off my head. Hi, Andromeda. Welcome in. Nice to see you. When the full light of the morning came, no signs of the wolves were to be found, and they looked in vain for the bodies of the dead. No trace of the fight remained, but the charred trees and the arrows Legolas lying on the hilltop. All were undamaged, save one of which only was the point was left. It is as I feared, said Gandalf. These were no ordinary wolves hunting for food in the wilderness. Let us eat quickly and go. That day the weather changed again, almost as if it was at the command of some power that had no longer any use for snow. Since they had retreated from the pass, a power that wished now to have a clear light in which things that moved in the wild could be seen from far away. The wind had been turning through north to northwest during the night, and now it failed. The clouds vanished southwards, and the sky was opened, high and blue. And they stood upon the hillside, ready to depart. A pale sunlight gleamed over the mountain tops. I'm not used to you lurking. And I repositioned your bun again. So it actually came up in full glory. Okay. I'm happy you made it here as well, Andromeda. We also have a alert command here. Yeah, I think it fits your bunny better, your bun better, that it's actually in full glory. Mm. But I think I need to move this and this. Mm. Yeah, that's so you. Burn the Mars, spend the fox, that's the butlers, burn the cogs, that the battles about the braids. That's what Bilbo Baggins hate. That's the rock, the Mac, there's a battle of bread to Mac, the better the better so. That's an on and every door, that's the doubt and about the door, that's the future, that's the roll. Yay! I don't know if your high popped up, Earthling. Might just be me who have missed it. No, no. We're there. Okay, good. But yeah, Miss Deathheart is usually here just spamming the laugh command. I need to make those longer. 5 seconds is not enough. No, ah. So you're saving up again to be able to spam it? Yeah, I know you. But I appreciate you. It's very nice. Earthling? No. Bad Earthling. Thank you, Mark. That was nice. Well, Mr. Thard, you can have a single one on the house. Huh. I need to find a way where I can kind of put my camera like up here and then have a light over here to like so I can actually read what the fuck is going on, because now I need to go and turn on the lights of in my room to actually be able to read. So 2 seconds and then I'm back. And now I'm back. Where's this from? Oh, it's from Sweden as well. Okay. So, Miss Deathheart, today we are going through Moria. Moria. The fallen kingdom of dwarves. Okay. We must reach the doors before sunset, said Gandalf, or I fear we shall not reach them at all. It is not far, but our paths may be winding, for here Aragorn cannot guide us. He has seldom walked into this country, and only once have I been under the west wall of Moria, and that was long ago. Come on, everyone! We need to drop everything you got. Woohoo! Hahaha. Nice work. Ooh. Hey. I think my things is unexisting. Yeah, apparently. I checked and it's shit. Do you also want me to correct it? Oh, so the only one having a chance of landing is Earthling? Nice! An Earthling lands in the bush of eggs. Of Easter eggs. I actually got another streamer to begin saying the same as I do, like a chick and a shit. Yeah, I'm a bunny. That's correct, Mark. That's correct. I'm even on the screen, Mr. Thrart. You should know that. You should know I'm there reading for you. Very disappointing. Thank you, Dima. All of the books in the Bonbon library, in the secret library, looks like that. So nobody can find anything if they don't already know where the things is or the things are. That's what you're supposed to see. Ah. Damn good. There it lies, he said, pointing away southeastwards to where the mountainsides fell sheer into the shadows of their feet. In the distance could be dimly seen a line of bare cliffs, and in their midst, taller than the rest, one great grey wall. Yeah, they're cute. When we left the pass, I led you southwards, and not back to our starting point, as some of you may have noticed. It is well that I did so, for now we have several miles less to cross, and haste is needed. Let us go. I do not know which to hope, said Boromir grimly. That Gandalf will find what he seeks, or that coming to the cliffs we shall find the gates lost forever. And all choices seem ill, and to be caught between wolves and the wall the likeliest chance. Lead on. Gimli now walked ahead by the wizard's side, so so eager was he to come to Moria. Together they led the company back towards the mountains, the only road of old to Moria. They were from the west had lain long along the course of a stream, the Sidrannon, that ran out from the feet of the cliffs near where the doors had stood. But either Gandalf was astray, or else the land had changed in recent year, for he did not strike the stream where he looked to find it, only a few miles southwards from the start. The morning was past towards noon, and still the company wandered and scrambled in a barren country of red stones. Nowhere could they see any gleam of water or hear any sound of it. All was bleak and dry. Their hearts sank. They saw no living thing, and not a bird was in the sky. But what the night would bring, if it caught them in that lost land, none of them cared to think. Suddenly Gimli, who had pressed on ahead, called back to them. He was standing on a knoll and pointing to the right. Hurrying up, they saw below them a deep and narrow channel. It was empty and silent, and hardly a trickle of water flowed among the brown and red-stained rocks of its bed. But on the near side there was a path, much broken and decayed, that wound its way among the ruined walls and paving stones of an ancient high road. Ah, here it is at last, said Gandalf. This is where the stream ran, Ciranon, the gate stream, they used to call it. But what has happened to the water? I cannot guess. It used to be swift and noisy. Come, we must hurry up we are late. The company were footsore and tired, but it trudged doggedly along the rough, winding tracks for many miles. The sun turned from noon and began to go west. After a brief halt and a hasty meal, they went on again. Before them the mountains frowned, but their path lay in a deep trough of land, and they could only see the higher shoulders and the far eastward peaks. At length they came to a sharp bend. There the road, which had been veering southwards between the brink of the channel and a steep fall of the land to the left, turned and went due east again. Rounding the corner, they saw before them a low cliff, some 5 fathoms high, with a broken and jagged top. Over it a trickling water dripped through a wide cleft that seemed to have been carved out by a fall that had once been strong and full. Indeed, things have changed, said Gandalf, but there is no mistaking the place. There is all the remains of the stair falls. If I remember right, there was a flight of steps cut into the rock at their side, but the main road wound away left and climbed with several loops up to the level ground at the top. There used to be a shallow valley beyond the falls right up to the walls of Moria, and the Cyrano flowed through it with the road beside it. Let us go and see what things are like now. They found the stone steps without difficulty, and Gimli sprang swiftly up them, followed by Gandalf and Frodo. When they reached the top, they saw that it could go no further that way, and for the reason for the drying up the great stream was revealed. Behind them, the sinking sun filled the cool western sky with glimmering gold. Before them stretched a dark, still lake. Neither sky nor sunset was reflected on its sullen surface. The Cyrano had been dammed and had filled all the valley. Beyond the ominous water were reared vast cliffs, their stones faced pallid into the fading light, final and impassable. Yeah, that's fine. No sign of gate or entrance. Not a fissure or crack could Frodo see in the frowning stone. There are the walls of Moria, said Gandalf, pointing across the water. And there the gate stood once upon a time, the elven door at the end of the road from Hollin, which we have come. But this way is blocked. None of the company, I guess, will wish to swim this gloomy water at the end of the day. It has an unwholesome look. We must find a way round the northern edge, said Gimli. The first thing for the company to do is to climb up by the main path and see where that will lead us. Even if there were no lake, we could not get our baggage pony up the stairs. But in any case, we cannot take the poor beast into the mines, said Gandalf. The road under the mountains is a dark road. There are places narrow and steep which cannot tread, even if we can. Poor old Bill, said Frodo. I had not thought of that. And poor Sam. I wonder what he will say. I am sorry, said Gandalf. Poor Bill has been a useful companion, and it goes to my heart to turn him adrift now. I would have travelled lighter and brought no animal, at least of all this one that Sam is fond of. if I had my way. I feared all along that we should be obliged to take this road. The day was drawing to its end, and cold stars were glinting in the sky high above the sunset, when the company, with all the speed they could, climbed up the slopes and reached the side of the lake. In breadth, it looked to be no more than 2 or 3 furlongs at the widest point. How far it stretched away southwards they could not see in the failing light, but its northern end was no more than half a mile from where they stood, and between the stony ridges that enclosed the valley. The valley and the water's edge, there was a rim of open ground. Oh my god. 2 seconds. I kinda hurt myself. There we go. They hurried forward, for they had still a mile or 2 to go before they could reach the point on the far shore that Gandalf was making for. And then he had still to find the doors. When they came to the northernmost corner of the lake, they found a narrow creek that barred their way. It was green and stagnant, thrust out like a slimy arm towards the enclosing hills. Gimli strode forward, undeterred, and found that the water was shallow, no more than ankle deep at the edge. Behind him they walked in file, treading their way with care, for under the weedy pools were sliding greasy stones, and the footing was treacherous. Frodo shuddered with disgust at the touch of the dark, unclean water on his feet. Hi, Anita. This is our amazing Potita, who have made Earthlings high. So you can say hi, say thanks to Potita for making your high, Earthling. Right now I'm doing good. I kinda have to clean a lot tomorrow because my mom is coming to help me clean spring clean the apartment before my partner arrives. So yeah, that's nice. Hi Nikki. Hi. Welcome in. She have her own cleaning and elderly help firm or company. So yeah, I think it's even nicer of her to actually take time off to clean for like 7-8 hours at my place. At the moment, we are trying to get into Moria, so that's nice. So yeah, the my mom's hourly wage at the moment is about 50 euro an hour. So that's that would be kind of expensive if I had to pay for it. Yeah, and that is even cheap for Denmark. Most companies' rates are between 70 and 100 euro. Yeah, Potita is a very amazing artist. So I would suggest to all of you which is here that you go and give her a follow and look at all the amazing things that Potita has on her Ko-Fi and everywhere else. I fucking hate this. Sorry for my fat head. Here. Yeah, you are a potato. And I actually have the proof of it right here. Because Potita was so nice to send me everything that I have ever gotten made. And this is a potato cat. Or a potato. I agree. Potita is very, very amazing. She even did this bunny. This amazing bun. And by the way, these are actually hand drawn. And Earthling's High is digitally drawn. So she is an artist of many colors. But you can see here is another bun. Aren't they amazing? And here we have another one, which is a crown for me. And here you have a little stamp of Potita's, one of Potita's emotes. Thank you, Anita. Thank you. So I highly suggest that you all go and see. Yeah, this one? Yeah. It's amazing. It's incredible, if I have to say so myself. So go check her out and stalk her stream. And I mean, stalk her stream. Oh yeah, and to just like make it even better, did you know that Anita is actually As a 2 apprentice as well. I mean, like, how insane is that? As a 2 apprentice. Damn. I'm just saying, she's the only one who's gonna stab me if I get to it. Good, you deserve it. And that's how we do it in here. Yes. I just hydrated. I have this little cider I have tried. I don't like it, but I bought it, so it's gotta go down. And they made these stupid bottle caps. Ugh. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Like, seriously. People are just gonna pull them off. Especially on the half-liter bottles. Fucking weirdos. Here we go. A little heart for all of stream. Yes. There we go. Haha. Mm. Oh yeah, and for the people who haven't seen, I also made a bun bun. And that is for Tumi. And this is the bun bun. They should. It's fucking dumb. So this is Tumi bun. But Tumi will get a proper bun bun when Anita has time to finish it. And no, don't you start blaming yourself for not having time. Spending time is doing quality work. Especially when you have your tattoo apprenticeship to take care of. So no, I know what you're thinking. And if you begin to do that, the bun bun will judge you. Judge you. Yeah, it is cute, isn't it? I also got this RGB bun. Purple. Blue. Also, Anita, I don't think you have seen my my newest bun bun. A very mad bun bun. Now I'm happy. Hi. Judging you. Judging you. I'm gonna judge you. My mom got me that. So Anita, next time I will use this on you. Judge. I judge you. Nobody said it had to be fair. Okay, let's see how many pages we have left of this chapter. Oh, that's a lot. Fuck. Damn. We have about 25 pages left. So I think I will cut this chapter in two today. I've only read 10 pages. What the fuck? So it's 30 pages. Yeah. Hi Tommy, welcome in. Yeah, that's fine, Mark. That's completely fine. Let's see here. So the bridge of Karadom is to here. What the fuck? What did they make these? No, that's LOTR. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so that's only like 12 pages. So 85 to 32. That's 50, that's 47 pages. So we will cut around here or somewhere. Need to find a place where to cut properly. There. There we will cut. But yeah, Toomey, I have a surprise for you at some point in the future. I will say to you when I have it. But it's a surprise on stream, so you kind of got to be here to get it. Yes, exactly. So, come on, everyone, we need to drop those bots. Drop those bots. Yeah, of course. Message me whenever you have time. Just do that. Forehead. Nice to me. Nice. Yeah, it's the patate competition. Come on, everyone. We need to drop those butts. Come on. Okay. So who will destroy it for everyone? Oh, you're too late. Sorry. Too late. And I hit. Barely. Yay! A chocolate egg for me. Woo! And now I can go hide in the bush. I love those emotes. They're amazing. Also, by the way, did you know that we have both my emote artists in the chat? The one going now is the one who have made my animated emotes, and Anita is the one who have done all my static emotes. There we have everything. And Potita has made that as well. Hydrate. Yes, I will hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate. Nom nom. Ow. Yeah, that's actually right. Miss Deathheart made a spoon. I have 3 artists. But yeah, Miss Deathheart made the best spoon, especially made for this book. So go use that spoon. It's an amazing spoon. Just don't eat with it. It will end up badly for you. So yeah. We like the spoon as well. The spoon bunny killer. That sounds wrong, Mr. Thart. That was what I thought. But it sounded wrong. You are the danger bun with the spoon. Yeah, exactly. The spoon killer? Yeah, it's called a melting pot, Mr. Thart. It kinda, when you put the spoon down into the melting pot, it kinda dies pretty quickly. Okay. Where did we come from? You will show what? Her? I'm confused. So I will just start reading again. Miss Deathheart is a dangerous spoon. Oh no. Danger Bun. That was what I was supposed to say. Okay. As Sam, the last of the company, led Bill up onto the dry ground on the far side, there came a soft sound. A swish, followed by a plop, as if a fish had disturbed the still surface of the water. Turning quickly, they saw ripples, black-edged with shadow in the waning light. Great rings were widening outward from a point far out in the lake. You fucks are weird. There was a bubbling noise and then silence. The dusk deepened, and the last gleams of the sunset were veiled in clouds. Gandalf now pressed on at a great pace, and the others followed as quickly as they could. They reached the strip of dry land between the lake and the cliffs. It was narrow, often hardly a dozen yards across, and encumbered with fallen rocks and stones. But they found a way, hugging the cliff, and keeping as far from the dark water as they might. A mile southwards, along the shore, they came upon holly trees. Stumps and dead boughs were rotting in the shallows. The remains, it seemed, of old thickets, or of a hedge that had once lined the road across the down valley. But close under the cliffs there stood, still strong and living, two tall trees, larger than any trees of holly that Frodo had ever seen or imagined. Their great roots spread from the wall to the water. Under the looming cliffs they had looked like mere bushes. When seen from far off from the top of the stairs, but now they towered overhead, stiff, dark, and silent, throwing deep night shadows about their feet, standing like sentinel pillars at the end of the road. Well, here we are at last, said Gandalf. Here the elven way from Hollin ended. Holly was the token of the people of that land, and they planted it here to mark the end of their domain. For the west door was made chiefly for their use in the traffic with the lords of Moria. Those were happier days, when there was still close friendship at times between folk of different races, even between dwarfs and elves. It was not the fault of the dwarfs that the friendship waned, said Gimli. I have not heard that it was the fault of the elves, said Legolas. I have heard both, said Gandalf, and I will not give judgment now. But I beg you two, Legolas and Gimli, at least to be friends and help me. I need you both. The doors are shut and hidden, and the sooner we find them, the better. Night is at hand. Turning to the others, he said, while I am searching, will you make ready to enter the mines? For here I fear we must say farewell to our good beast of burden. You must lay aside much of your stuff that we brought against bitter weather. You will not need it inside, nor I hope when we come through and journey on the down to the south. Instead, each of us must take a share of what the ponies carried, especially the food and the water skins. But you can't leave poor old Bill behind in this forsaken place, Mr. Gandalf, cried Sam, angry and distressed. I won't have it, and that's flat. After he has come so far and all. I'm sorry, Sam, said the wizard. But when the door opened, I do not think you will be able to drag your Bill inside into the long dark of Moria. You will have to choose between Bill and your master. He would follow Mr. Frodo into a dragon's den if I let him, protested Sam. It would be nothing short of murder to turn him loose with all these wolves about. It will be short of murder, I hope, said Gandalf. He laid his hand on the pony's head and spoke in a low voice. Go with words of guard and guiding on you, he said. You are a wise beast and have learned much in Rivendell. Make your ways to places where you can find grass, and so come in time to Elrond's house, or wherever you wish to go. There, Sam. He will have quite as much chance of escaping the wolves and getting home as we have. Sam stood suddenly by the pony and returned no answer. Bill seeming to understand well what was going on, nuzzled up to him, putting his nose to Sam's ear. Sam burst into tears and fumbled with the straps, unladding the pony's packs and throwing them on the ground. The others sorted out the goods, making a pile of all that could be left behind and dividing the rest. When this was done, they returned to watch Gandalf. He appeared to have done nothing. He was standing between the two trees, gazing at the blank wall of the cliff, as if he could bore a hole into it with his eyes. Gimli was wandering about, tapping the stone here and there with his axe. Legolas was pressed against the rock, as if listening. "Well, here we are, and all ready," said Merry. "But where are the doors? I can't see any sign of them." "Dwarf doors are not made to be seen when shut," said Gimli. "They are invisible, and their own makers cannot find them or open them if their secret is forgotten. But this door was not made to be a secret known only to dwarfs," said Gandalf, coming suddenly to life and turning round. "Unless things are altogether changed, eyes that know what to look for may discover the signs." He walked forward to the wall, right between the shadow of the trees. There was a smooth space, and over this he passed his hand to and fro, muttering words under his breath. Then he stepped back. "Look," he said. "Can you see anything now?" The moon shone upon the grey face of the rock, but they could see nothing else for a while. Then slowly on the surface, where the wizard's hand had passed, faint lines appeared, like slender veins of silver running in the stone. At first, they were no more than pale gossamer threads, so fine that they only twinkled fitfully where the moon caught them. But steadily they grew broader and clearer until their design could be guessed. At the top, as high as Gandalf could reach, was an arc of interlacing letters in an elvish character. Below, though the threads were in place blurred or broken, the outline could be seen of an anvil and a hammer surmounted by a crown with 7 stars. Beneath these again were 2 trees, each bearing crescent moons. More clearly than all else shone forth in the middle of the door a single star with many rays. "There are the emblems of Durin," cried Gimli. "And there is the tree of the High Elves," said Legolas. "And the star of the House of Fëanor," said Gandalf. "They are wrought of Ithilien, that mirrors only starlight and moonlight, and sleeps until it is touched by one who speaks words now long forgotten in Middle-earth. It is long since I heard them, and I thought deeply before I could recall them to my mind." "What does the writing say?" asked Frodo, when he tried to decipher the inscription on the ark. "I thought I knew the elf letters, but I cannot read these." "These words are in the elven tongue of the west of Middle-earth in the elder days," answered Gandalf. "But they do not say anything of importance to us. They only say, 'The doors of Durin, Lord of Moria, speak, friend, and enter.' And underneath, small and faint, is written, 'I, Narvi, made them. Celebrimbor of Hollin drew these signs.'" "What does it mean by 'speak, friend, and enter'?" asked Merry. "That's plain enough," said Gimli. "If you are a friend, speak the password, and the doors will open, and you can enter." "Yes," said Gandalf. "These doors are probably governed by words. Some dwarf gates will open at only special times. Or for particular persons. And some have locks and keys that are still needed when all necessary times and words are known. These doors have no key. In the days of Durin, they were not secret. They usually stood open and doorwards sat here. But if they were shut, any who knew the opening words could speak it and pass in. At least so it is recorded, is it not, Gimli? It is, said the dwarf, but what the word was is not remembered. Navi and his craft and all kindred have vanished from the earth. But do you not know the word, Gandalf? Asked Boromir in surprise. No, said the wizard. Melon. Do we need melon now? Because I'm getting kind of hungry. Oh yeah. Fuck, my brain is roasted. Oh yeah. And I just saw the time everything. It was nice to see you here again, Mark. Thank you for coming. And I will write you when Laura is here. To when we should schedule a time for you to either come here or for us to go out and eat or something. See ya, Mark. I have 5 pages left, I think it is. In the last half hour, I have read 15 pages. So that's kind of fast. The others looked dismayed. Only Aragorn, who knew Gandalf well, remained silent and unmoved. Then what was the use of bringing us to this accursed spot? Cried Boromir, glancing back with a shudder at Darkwater. You told us that you had once passed through the mines. How could that be if you did not know how to enter? The answer to your first question, Boromir, said the wizard, is that I do not know the word yet. But we shall soon see. And, he added with a glint in his eyes under their bristling brows, you may ask, what is the use of my deeds when they are proving useless? As for your other question, do you doubt my tale? Or have you no wits left? I did not enter this way. I came from the east. If you wish to know, I will tell you that these doors open outwards. From the inside, you may thrust them open with your hands. From the outside, nothing will move them save the spell of command. They cannot be forced inwards. What are you going to do then? Asked Pippin, undaunted by the wizard's bristling brows. Knock on the doors with your head, Peregrine Shook, said Gandalf. But if that does not shatter them, am I allowed a little peace from foolish questions? I will seek for the opening words. I once knew every spell in all the tongues of elves or men. Or orcs that was ever used for such a purpose. I can still remember 10 score of them without searching in my mind, but only a few trials, I think, will be needed. And I shall not have to call on Gimli for words of the secret dwarf tongue that they teach to none. The opening words were elvish, like the writing on the arch. That seems certain. He stepped up to the rock again and lightly touched with his staff to the silver star in the middle beneath the sign of the anvil. Anon et Helen adro hiaman. Fennes negothrim las beneath lammen, he said in a commanding voice. The silver lines faded, but the blank gray stone did not stir. Many times he repeated these words in different order, or varied them. Then he tried other spells, one after another, speaking now faster and louder, now soft and slow. Then he spoke many single words of elvish speech. Nothing happened. The cliff towered into the night. The countless stars were kindled, the wind blew cold, and the door stood fast. Again Gandalf approached the wall, and lifting up his arms, he spoke in tones of command and rising wrath. Edro, Edro, he cried, and struck the rock with his staff. Open, open, he shouted, and followed it with the same command in every language that had ever been spoken in the west of Middle-earth. Then he threw his staff on the ground and sat down in silence. At that moment, from far away, the wind bore into their listening ears the howling of the wolves. Bill the pony started in fear, and Sam sprang to his side and whispered slowly to him. Do not let him run away, said Boromir. It seems that we shall need him still, if the wolves do not find us. How I hate this foul pool. He stooped, and picking up a larger stone, he cast it far into the dark water. The stone vanished with a soft slap, but at the same instant there was a swish and a bubble. Great rippling springs formed on the surface, out beyond where the stone had fallen, and they moved slowly towards the foot of the cliff. Why did you do that, Boromir? Said Frodo. I hate this place too, and I'm afraid. I don't know of what, not of wolves or the dark between the doors, or the dark behind the doors, but of something else. I'm afraid of the pool. Don't disturb it. I wish we could get away, said Merry. Why doesn't Gandalf do something quick? Said Pippin. Gandalf took no notice of them. He sat with his head bowed, either in despair or in anxious thought. The mournful howling of the wolves was heard again. The ripples on the water grew and came closer. Some were already lapping on the shore. With a suddenness that startled them all, the wizard sprang to his feet. He was laughing. I have it, he cried. Of course, of course. Absurdly simple. Like most riddles, when you see the answer. Picking up his staff, he stood before the rock and said in a clear voice, Melon! The star shone out briefly and faded again. Then suddenly a great doorway was outlined, though not a crack or joint had been visible before. Slowly it divided in the middle and swung outwards inch by inch, until both doors lay against the wall. Through the opening, a shadowy stair could be seen, climbing steeply up, but beyond the lower steps, the darkness was deeper than the night. The company stared in wonder. I was wrong after all, said Gandalf, and Gimli too. Merry of all people was on the right track. The opening word was inscribed in the archway at all time. The translation should have been, say friend and enter. I had only to speak the elvish word for friend, and the doors opened. Quite simple. Too simple for a learned lawmaster in these suspicious days. Those were happier times. Now let us go. He strode forward and set his foot on the lowest step, but at that moment several things happened. Something seized him by the ankle, and he fell with a cry. Bill the pony gave a wild neigh of fear and turned tail and dashed away along the side of the lake into the darkness. Sam leaped after him, and then hearing Frodo cry, he ran back again, weeping and cursing. The others swung round and saw the waters of the lake seething, as if a host of snakes were swimming up from the southern end. Out from the water a long sinuous tentacle had crawled. It was pale green and luminous and wet. Its fingered end had hold of Frodo's foot and was dragging him into the water. Sam on his knees was now slashing at it with a knife. The arm let go of Frodo, and Sam pulled him away, crying out for help. 20 other arms came rippling out. The dark water boiled, and there was a hideous stench. Into the gateway, up the stairs, quick! Shouted Gandalf, leaping back, rousing them from the horror that seemed to have rooted all but Sam to the ground. Where they stood, he drove them forward. They were just in time. Sam and Frodo were only a few steps up, and Gandalf had just begun to climb, when the groping tentacles writhed across the narrow shore and fingered the cliff wall and the doors. One came wiggling over the threshold, glistening in the starlight. Gandalf turned and paused. If he was considering what word to use, word would close the gate from within, there was no need. Many coiling arms seized the door on either side, and with horrible strength swung them round. With a shattering echo they slammed, and all light was lost. A noise of rending and crashing came dully through the ponderous stone. Sam, clinging to Frodo's arm, collapsed on a step in the black darkness. "Poor old Bill," he said in a choking voice. "Poor old Bill. Wolves and snakes." But the snakes were too much for him. "I had to choose, Mr. Frodo. I had to come with you." They heard Gandalf go back down to the steps and thrust his staff against the doors. There was a quiver in the stone, and the stairs trembled, but the door did not open. "Well, well," said the wizard, "the passage is blocked behind us now, and there is only one way out. On the other side of the mountain. I fear from the sounds that boulders have been piled up, and the trees uprooted and thrown across the gate. I'm sorry, for the trees were beautiful and had stood so long. I felt that something terrible was near from the moment that my foot touched the water," said Frodo. "What was that thing? Or were there many of them?" "I do not know," answered Gandalf, "but the arms were all guided by one purpose. Something has crept, or has been driven out of dark waters under the mountains. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world." He did not speak aloud his thought from whatever it was that dwelt in the lake. It had seized on Frodo first among all the company. Boromir muttered under his breath, but the echoing stone magnified the sound of a hoarse whisper that all could hear. "In the deep places of the world, and thither we are going against my wish. Who will lead us now in this deadly dark?" "I will," said Gandalf, "and Gimli shall walk with me. Follow my staff." That's what he said. As the wizard passed on ahead up the great steps, he held his staff aloft, and from its tip there came a faint radiance. The wide stairways were sound and undamaged. 200 steps they counted, broad and shallow, and at the top they found an arched passage with a level floor leading on into the dark. "Let us sit and rest and have something to eat. Here on the landing," Since we can't find a dining room, said Frodo. He had begun to shake off the terror of the clutching arm, and suddenly he felt extremely hungry. The proposal was welcomed by all, and they sat down on the upper steps, dim figures in the gloom. After they had eaten, Gandalf gave them each a third sip of the Middlewar of Rivendell. Holy fuck. It will not last much longer, I'm afraid, he said, but I think we need it after that horror of the gate. And unless we have great luck, we shall need all that is left before we see the other side. Go carefully with the water too. There are many streams and wells in the mines, but they should not be touched. We may not have a chance of filling our skins and bottles till we come down into Dimdril Dale. How long is that going to take us? Asked Frodo. I cannot say, answered Gandalf. It depends on many chances. But going straight without mishap or losing our way, we should take 3 to 4 marches, I expect. It cannot be less than 40 miles from Westdoor to Eastgate in a direct line, and the road may wind much. Oh, now I need something to drink. After only a brief rest, they started on their way again. All were eager to get the journey over as quickly as possible, and were willing, tired as they were, to go on marching still for several hours. Gandalf walked in front as before. In his hand he held up his glimmering staff, the light of which just showed the ground before his feet. In his light he held his sword Glamdring. Behind him came Gimli, his eyes glinting in the dim light as he turned his head from side to side. Behind the dwarf walked Frodo, and he had drawn the short sword Sting. No gleam came from the blade of Sting or of Glamdring, and that was some comfort. For being the word of elvish smith in the elder days, these swords shone with a cold light if any orcs were near at hand. Behind Frodo went Sam, and after him Legolas, and the young hobbits and Boromir. In the dark at the rear, grim and silent, walked Aragorn. The passage twisted round a few turns, and then began to descend. It went steadily down for a long while before it came level once again. The air grew hot and stifling, but it was not foul, and at many times they felt currents of cooler air upon their faces, issuing from half-guessed openings in the walls. There were many of these. In the pale ray of the wizard's staff, Frodo caught glimpses of stairs and arches, and of other passages and tunnels, sloping up and running steeply down, or opening blankly dark on either side. It was bewildering beyond hope of remembering. Gimli aided Gandalf a very little, except by his stout courage. At least he was not, as were most of the others, troubled by the mere darkness in itself. Often the wizard consulted him at points where the choice of way was doubtful, but it was always Gandalf who had the final word. The mines of Moria were vast and intricate, beyond the imagination of Gimli, Gloin's son. Dwarf of the mountain race though he was, to Gandalf's far-off memories of a journey long before were now of little help. But even in the gloom, and despite all windings of the road, he knew whither he wished to go, or he did not falter. Ugh. As long as there was a path that led towards his goal. Do not be afraid, said Aragorn. There was a longer pause than usual. Uh, and Gandalf and Gimli were whispering together. The others were crowded behind, waiting anxiously. Do not be afraid. I have been with him on many a journey, if never on one so dark, and there are tales in Rivendell of greater deeds of his than any I have seen. He will not go astray, if there is a path to find. He has led us in here against our fears, but he will lead us out again, at whatever cost to himself. He is surer of finding the way home in a blind night than the cats of Queen Bedrothiel. It was well for the company that they had such a guide. They had no fuel nor any means of making torches. In a desperate scramble at the doors, many things had been left behind, but without any light, they would soon have to come to grief. There were not only many roads to choose from. Ugh. There were also in many places holes and pitfalls, and dark wells beside the path, in which their passing feet echoed. There were fissures and chasms in the walls and floor, and every now and then a crack would open right before their feet. The widest was more than 7 feet across, and it was long before Pippin could summon enough courage to leap over. Over the dreadful gap. The noise of churning water came up from far below, as if some great mill wheel was turning in the depths. Rope, muttered Sam. I knew I'd want it, if I hadn't got it. As these dangers became more frequent, their march became slower. Already they seemed to have been tramping on endlessly to the mountain's roots. You. They were more than weary, and yet there seemed no comfort in the thought of halting anywhere. Frodo's spirit had risen for a while after his escape, and after food and a draught of the cordial, but now a deep uneasiness growing to dread crept over him again. Though he had been healed in Rivendell of the knife stroke, that grim wound had not been without effect. His senses were sharper and more aware of things that could not be seen. One sign of change that he soon had noticed was that he could see more in the dark than any of his companions, save perhaps Gandalf, and he was in any case the bearer of the ring. It hung upon his upon his chain against his breast, and at whiles it seemed a heavy weight. He felt the certainty of evil ahead and of evil following, but he said nothing. He gripped tighter on the hilt of his sword and went on doggedly. The company behind him spoke seldom, and then only in hurried whispers. There was no sound but the sound of their own feet, the dull stump of Gimli's dwarf boots, the heavy tread of Boromir, the light step of Legolas, the soft scarce-heard patter of hobbit feet, and in the rear the slow firm footfalls of Aragorn with his long stride. When they halted for a moment, they heard nothing at all, unless it were occasionally a faint trickle and a drip of unseen water. Yet Frodo began to hear, or to imagine that he heard, something else. Like the faint fall of soft bare feet, It was never loud enough or near enough for him to feel certain that he heard it, but once it had started, it never stopped. While the company was moving, it never stopped while the company was moving. But it was not an echo, for when they halted, it pattered on for a little all by itself and then grew still. So, this was the last one of this story for today. And now we need to see who we are gonna rate. So let's see who we have today. Yeah, you like that one, don't you? Okay, I think we have the one. So everyone, remember to have a lovely day until next week. And we are gonna go and see 600. You are very welcome. So for everyone who wants to join, here is the rate message for the followers, and here is the one for the subs. Please come and say hi to 6 with me, and I hope that you all come next week to watch or to hear the rest of the story of the Fellowship of the Ring. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you all on Sunday. Bye bye.